Good morning, folks. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Hopefully, you didn't stay up too late watching that Super Bowl with Tom Brady and the Patriots and their unethical behavior. Still managing to come out on top again. Sorry, I'm not a Patriots fan. For those of you that are, congratulations. A couple things real quick. Homework number one is due at the end of the week, so make sure you get that taken care of by Sunday and in the Dropbox. Anything that is late, you can turn in late assignments for the homework as long as they're turned in before the end of the semester, but you will get half the points taken off for it. So please keep that in mind. Go ahead and make sure you get that in the submissions, get that taken care of. Again, the instructions are in the content section like we discussed before. Discussion for this video, Chapter 3. I want you to get into the Dennis Joy's reflection on the Pinto fires. This is one of those things that we start looking at some different reasons for why some of this stuff started taking place. And the question I posed to you, there's actually two parts that I wanted to kind of get into this, but they kind of both revolve around the same thing. The question I gave you was, is a person behaving unethically if the situation is not even construed in ethical terms, if there is no moral awareness, if someone doesn't know that something actually is an ethical situation to begin with? Is it something they're doing? Is it where do you feel they're doing something wrong? And that's where we start to look at some of these things about intent versus blame, even if someone doesn't know what's going on. And the reason why we get into some of these things, the first thing I want to bring up in regards to the situation is the idea of scripts and script processing. If you look on page 101 of the book and it gets into script processing, your definition here of a script, and I'm going to read this from this, scripts are cognitive frameworks that guide human thought and action. All right. The idea that we have scripts for things we do, and this is involving anything. When you get up in the morning, you have a routine in your head, not written down, not something that has been dictated that you have to do something a certain way. It's just what you've gotten used to. So you have a routine, you have a script in place that when I get up in the morning, I get up out of bed, I stretch my arms up, I go into the bathroom, I go to the bathroom, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, and that's your routine for doing things. All right. Doesn't mean that there is something inherently wrong or right or anything else with it. It's just your routine for doing things. When we get into certain situations in life, we start looking at how we do things, and it becomes very much an automated process. Very much so to the fact where we don't start questioning things, or we don't start looking at anything being possibly out of the line of thinking that it might be something wrong. And this is one of the things that got into Joy's situation with how he was doing his job. He became someone that started to just go along with the flow and not start questioning some of these things that you deal with so many of these different cost-benefit analysis type of situations, that it starts to become kind of a second nature, and you don't think about the horrible implications, right? We all think of for the most part, we think of death and people dying and some of these situations as, oh my gosh, how did this happen? How did they let this happen? How did this occur? But this is a business decision for these people that they deal with every single day. When I was working at Progressive, this is something that I dealt with large loss claims, that I was the person going out there and dealing with the death injuries and with the really bad fatalities, the really bad injuries where people are losing limbs and things like that. And it's something that you become desensitized to some of these things. Not to say it's right or wrong, but it's something that it doesn't carry the same gravitas as what we have if you're dealing with it for the first time. So that's one aspect of it. All right. The part the question really is kind of getting at is, if you don't know something is wrong, are you acting unethically? And with this, think about it in a different situation. Let's suppose that you work for Colgate or Crest or some kind of toothpaste company. If you are producing toothpaste, and everything that's going through the government companies and government organizations are saying, yes, this is safe. Food and Drug Administration says, yes, it's completely safe, no issues. We've done animal testing on these things, and it's something that's shown to be safe on bunnies and rabbits and monkeys and everything else that they used to do on animal testing back in the day. And it's something that shows no issues. You continue moving forward. If you find out 25, 30 years later that chemical you're using in whatever toothpaste that's gone out to millions upon millions of people actually was cancer causing, is it something that you feel like you are acting unethically because of that, because of something that you didn't know was going on? If you don't ever put something into an ethical or moral situation with ramifications that deal with ethics, is it something that you're doing something wrong? And that's what I kind of want to get with the thoughts and the feelings with this, because it's not always going to be some cut and dry type of situation. We kind of have to try and look at what's going on and what might be the possible implications, the possible outcomes that come out of what we're doing. So we have to be careful with some of these things. Some of you guys' responses were pretty good and kind of get into some of this stuff, but I think we have to make sure we understand some of the stuff and understand what it is that we are getting ourselves into and what it is that we're following as far as scripts go and as far as our routines, and making sure that we are constantly looking to tweak some of those and change some of those and adjust them based on what might possibly be wrong with these situations. Are we looking at things closely enough? Is this something that we're doing our due diligence to make sure we're getting things done? Again, there is no necessarily right or wrong answer to this question, which is kind of like a lot of these questions. I want to get your thoughts and I want to get your opinions on it, so I want to make sure you guys are doing this stuff and getting into it from that perspective. One other thing I want to mention to you guys about the discussion posts. I know we have 120 students in this class. This means that about 30 of you guys did not respond to or did not originally put an original post in the discussion board. So make sure you guys are getting in there, because it's something that you're going to start wishing you had as far as total points for the class. Again, homework due at the end of the week. Make sure you're getting into the content section, getting the instructions for that. Also, make sure you're preparing yourself for the first exam that's coming up. The due date for that is the 24th of February. So make sure you do what you need to do as far as online forms, things like that for the online office. Spears Online at okstate.edu is the email if you have questions about that. Also, get in there again to the content section. Make sure you're looking at that stuff as far as somewhat of a review for the exam. If you have questions, please let me know. I'll get back to you as quick as I can. I'm going to be checking my email this morning. So again, if you have questions, let me know. Thanks.